Remember when Shanks lost his hand in episode 4 and angrily looked at the Sea King? They ran away, not only because Shanks is one badass dude, but also because he was using the colors of the Supreme King, or, as most of us know it, Conqueror's Haki. Conqueror's Haki, baby, the big, bad willpower flexing move that separates the true legends from the wannabes in One Piece. This isn't just your run-of-the-mill power-up, oh no. This is the kind of ability that screams bow before me, without even having to lift a finger. We're talking about Shanks, Luffy, Rayleigh, Roger, Oden, Ace, Sengoku, and the absolute powerhouse Whitebeard himself. You know, the real MVPs of the One Piece world, who can walk into a room and knock half the crowd unconscious just by existing. Yeah, it's that epic. So what makes this ability so jaw-dropping? Simple, it's all about willpower. The more determined you are, the bigger the knockout. Conqueror's Haki isn't some cheap trick. Only one in several million people can even dream of wielding it. If you're weak, sorry pal, you're hitting the dirt before you can even blink. If you're strong, maybe, just maybe, you'll survive the initial blast. This power made its first grand entrance when Shanks saved little Luffy from a Sea King. And while nobody knew what it was back then, we all now recognize that signature flex. But wait, there's more. Train hard enough and you're basically an earthquake in human form, taking down armies like it's a Sunday stroll. Luffy, our boy, accidentally unleashed it in Marineford, but by the time he was knocking out 50,000 fishmen without breaking a sweat, we knew he was the guy. Conqueror's Haki isn't just handed out to anyone though. It's for rulers, for the game changers in the One Piece universe. You either have it or you don't, and if you don't, well, better hope you're not in the way when one of these legends decides to flex. You ever wonder how Goldie, Roger, or Whitebeard, yeah, those absolute monsters, turned regular old sword swings into something straight out of a myth? Well, that's because of the Conqueror's Haki infusion. This is like Armament Haki's cooler, more exclusive cousin, because not everyone could pull it off. We're talking Roger, Luffy, Kaido, Zoro, Shanks, the big dogs of the One Piece world. If you're not on that level, well, sorry, not everyone gets to swing weapons that can break the heavens. Remember that epic clash where Roger and Whitebeard were going at it? Oh yeah, those weren't just regular attacks, they were literally soaking their weapons in Conqueror's Haki, boosting their power to such insane levels. Even Kaido would have been like, yikes. But here's the real kicker, no one actually knows how this works until our rubbery boy Luffy figured it out while duking it out with Kaido in the raid of Onigashima. And man, the moment Luffy tapped into this, Kaido was forced to play defense. Defense! That's like making Goku cower in fear. Yeah, it's that wild. So why does this matter? Well, because if you can infuse Conqueror's Haki into your attacks, you're pretty much writing your name in the One Piece Hall of Fame. This ain't your regular punch harder technique. This is make your enemies rethink their life choices level of power. Luffy figured it out, put Kaido on the back foot, and basically showed us why only the legends get to play with this kind of fire. Conqueror's Haki Subtype 2, Observation Killing. Shutting down Future Sight like a boss, the red-haired legend himself, Shanks, the guy who can make entire rooms go silent with just a stare, has a secret weapon in his back pocket. Observation Killing. Sounds intense, right? Well, that's because it is. It's the rarest, most elite form of Haki in all of One Piece, and guess what? No one else has even shown it on screen yet. Yeah, you heard that right. Shanks, the guy who can shut down your future scene powers like flipping a switch, hasn't had to flex this ability in front of us. Yet. So what exactly does this Conqueror's Haki base superpower do? Simple, makes your opponent's Observation Haki, the same power that lets them predict your next move, completely useless. That's right, all those fancy Future Sight tricks, gone. And if you can do that, you're automatically sitting at the top of the food chain, dominating the battlefield like a true Pirate King contender. Shanks, being the absolute Haki powerhouse he is, might be the only person in the entire world who can pull this off. That's why people are shaking in their boots every time he shows up. His control over Conqueror's Haki is so legendary, it's practically written in pirate history books. So could this ability be unique to Shanks alone? Maybe, but with One Piece being One Piece, you just know Luffy's gonna have a moment where he starts figuring out this wild technique too. After all, a reunion between these two is on the horizon, and you better believe the sparks are gonna fly when that happens. Now let's move on to Armament Haki, the badass invisible armor you didn't know you needed. A skill that most of the Mugiwara crew mastered, Luffy, Zoro, Sanji, Jinbei, and well, the list goes on. We're talking basic and advanced techniques here. You want to punch through a mountain? Check. Block a flaming sword of doom? Double check. Now let's break this down for the uninitiated. Like all forms of Haki, Armament Haki taps into your spiritual energy. Think of it as using your soul to create an invisible suit of armor that makes you basically invincible. Within reason, of course. With this spiritual armor, users can pull off insane offensive and defensive moves that make Superman sweat. Oh, and the best part? Armament Haki smacks around those Logia Devil Fruit users like they're playing dodgeball without arms, basically turning their fancy powers into glorified parlor tricks. But here's the kicker. The first person to flex Armament Haki wasn't some no-name pirate. Nope, it was none other than the living legend himself, Monkey D. Garp. Picture this. A nice lobby arc. Garp shows up, throws a Haki-infused punch at his grandson Luffy, and boom, completely bypasses the rubbery nonsense of Luffy's Devil Fruit powers. Garp, the greatest Armament Haki user of his generation, made that punch feel like a freight train from the gods. But the man's got more tricks up his sleeve. He hasn't even shown us the full extent of his power yet, and trust me, when he does, it'll be one for the books. Oh, and did I mention Armament Haki comes in subtypes? Yeah, it's like upgrading from a sports car to a fighter jet. Let's kick things off. Armament Haki, specifically hardening, is like the Swiss Army knife of the One Piece world. You've got Luffy, Zoro, Rayleigh, Odin, and even big ol' Whitebeard flexing this ability like it's the hottest trend in pirate fashion. Picture this, you're in a fight, and bam! Suddenly your skin's darker than a shady deal in the back alleys of Water 7. It's not just for looks though, it cranks up your power and defense faster than a Gear 2nd Luffy on caffeine. This bad boy isn't just for show either. Hardening is your go-to move when you're deep into the new world, fighting people who could probably bench press the going merry. Every fighter worth their weight in belly needs this trick in their back pocket because without it, you're toast. Not that crispy buttery kind, but the Kaido just made me a human pancake kind. Luffy basically can't go a fight without it now, or his enemies would send him packing faster than Buggy in a war zone. But here's the kicker, it's not foolproof. As strong as hardening is, it's like trying to stop a tidal wave with a fishing net when you're up against gods like Kaido. Still, if you're a Devil Fruit user, or just a good old swordsman like Zoro, you better be slathering that stuff all over, because the new world ain't for the faint of heart. Now to Armament Haki's second cool trick, imbuement, aka turning ordinary weapons into don't mess with me objects. Picture Zoro slicing up Pika like he's trimming the hedges in Dressrosa. That's the power of imbuement in action. We're talking Zoro, Mihawk, Doflamingo, Roger, and even Hancock, using their spiritual energy to supercharge weapons. Suddenly your sword goes from sharp to slice through mountain sharp. And oh yeah, these weapons, practically indestructible when they're all hakied up. Think of it as giving your weapon a major glow up. Now here's where things get fun. When you use imbuement, your weapons turn jet black, like it's ready to star in a heavy metal music video. Take Mihawk's sword, Yoru, for example. That thing's a black blade, because he's always pumping it full of Armament Haki. But before you think it's just for swords, hold up. Bullets, arrows, slingshots, heck even a rock could get the Haki treatment. Anything that can be thrown, shot, or swung around can get in on the action. The Kuja tribe's got this down to a science, shooting Haki-infused arrows that pack more punch than a cannonball. And here's the kicker. Even after you fire off one of these bad boys, the Armament Haki sticks around. Yeah, you heard me right. Your weapon stays souped up even when it's not in your hand. It's like giving your arrows a set-it-and-forget-it upgrade, and they'll come through in the clutch. Armament Haki's third trick, a mission. This isn't your typical hit-em-hard move. Oh no, it's all about launching those bad boys through the air. We're talking short-range energy blasts that hit like a truck. Imagine Luffy, mid-Wano arc, facing off against Kaido, and not having to physically punch the guy, but still laying down the hurt from a distance. Now that's what I call leveling up. The real MVP of this technique? Luffy, Rayleigh, Akainu, Kizaru, Hyogoro, and even Kobe talk about an all-star lineup. Here's the thing though, the mission isn't some walk in the park Haki. It's like trying to thread a needle during an earthquake. It takes mad precision and timing. Users have to be in this zen-like state, totally focused to pull it off, so no distractions, no thinking about what's for lunch, just pure Haki energy shooting out like a controlled explosion. And let's be real, adding a mission to your fighting toolkit is a game changer. For fighters who typically rely on close quarters combat, suddenly being able to smack someone from a distance, that's next level stuff. Luffy figured this out during the Wano arc, where his emission Haki helped him go toe-to-toe with Kaido. And just know, this technique is going to be huge in the arcs ahead. Alright, now that we're getting to some seriously dangerous territory, internal destruction. If you thought emission was impressive, wait until you hear about this one. It's the absolute rarest and deadliest form of Armament Haki, and only 2 people have managed to pull it off, Luffy and his OG mentor, Silver's Rayleigh. We're talking about Haki that doesn't just hit the surface, it destroys you from the inside out. Yeah, it's that wild. Picture this, Rayleigh first shows off this technique way back in the Subodi Archipelago arc, when he literally disintegrates Cammy's slave collar without so much as breaking a sweat. The man is a legend for a reason. Now fast forward to Luffy, who takes his sweet time mastering this Haki trick, but under Hyogoro's watchful eye during the Wano arc, he finally gets the hang of it. There's this moment where Luffy just casually rips off explosive collars from his and Hyogoro's necks, like it's no big deal. That's when you know he's far from your average pirate. This guy's on a whole other level. The coolest thing about internal destruction, it works by shooting Haki straight into your opponent and tearing them up from the inside. It's not flashy on the outside, but the damage is brutal. We haven't seen everything this technique can do yet, but trust me, it's only going to get more intense as Luffy continues to refine it. You just know that the next big fight is going to have some internal destruction moments that'll leave jaws on the floor. Now let's talk about something fans have dubbed tribal Haki. Yeah, it's not the official term, but the name's stuck for a reason. This rare subtype of Armament Haki is all about those wild tribal-like flame patterns, most famously seen when Luffy goes full Gear 4. And while there's still a lot we don't know about it, there are a few things that make this version of Haki seriously intriguing. First off, we've seen these flame patterns pop up on some of the most powerful characters around, Luffy, Katakuri, and Big Mom. And while it hasn't been explicitly explained in the series, fans have some solid theories. One big guess? It's all about combining Haki with Devil Fruit powers. The idea is that when someone has an insane amount of Haki and mixes it with their Devil Fruit abilities, you get these flame patterns. Another theory, the pattern comes from pure concentrated Haki, meaning it's like a visual indicator of how strong their Haki really is. The thing is, we haven't seen a whole lot of tribal Haki in action since those epic fights with Katakuri and Doflamingo, but you just know it's going to play a bigger role in One Piece's final saga. There's no way Oda's gonna leave something this cool hanging, right? Observation Haki might be the most common type of Haki in the world of One Piece, but don't let that fool you, it's still a game changer in the right hands. This Haki allows its users to sense others in ways that go beyond normal perception, making it feel almost like they have a sixth sense. Whether it's sensing someone's aura, reading their emotions, or gauging their strength, Observation Haki opens up a whole new layer of awareness for those who master it. Luffy's a prime example of someone who's taken this ability to new heights, often relying on his Observation Haki to feel the emotions of those around him. It's a bit different from the typical use of sensing auras, but that's what makes Observation Haki so versatile. It adapts to the user. The first confirmed instance of it being used in the series goes all the way back to Blackbeard on Jaya Island, when he sized up Luffy's strength. Since then, it's become a crucial skill for New World pirates, popping up in nearly every arc. However, there's a catch. If a fighter gets too emotional during a battle, they won't be able to use it to its full potential. Now let's talk about Future Sight, the ultimate evolution of Observation Haki. Only the most skilled users can unlock this ability, and when they do, it's an absolute game changer. Future Sight gives users the power to see a few moments into the future, allowing them to dodge attacks and predict their opponent's every move. It's the kind of ability that makes even a top-tier fighter nearly unbeatable in combat. Charlotte Katakuri was the first character we saw using Future Sight, and he was absolutely terrifying with it. His eyes even glow red when he activates the technique. How cool is that? So far, only a few characters, including Katakuri, Luffy, Shanks, and Kaido, have been confirmed to possess this ability. And according to Silver's Rayleigh, Future Sight is reserved for only the strongest fighters, so you know it's going to play a huge role in One Piece's endgame. The thing with Future Sight is that you can't just train for it in a normal way. It's something you learn through fighting. This makes it even rarer and more powerful, which is why, when you see someone using it, you know they mean business. And if you had the chance to pick one of these Haki abilities to use in your everyday life, which one would you go for? Personally, Future Sight would be a total game changer. Imagine being able to predict what's coming just a few seconds ahead of time. Or maybe you'd go with Conqueror's Haki to influence those around you with sheer willpower. Either way, the possibilities are endless. Let us know your choice in the comments section below. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe for more One Piece content. Make sure to hit that notification bell so you're notified every time we post a new video. Thanks for watching.